When a sports contract gets announced, the first number we all look for is the salary. We look for the sticker price. We want to know whether it's 100 million, 200 million, or 500 million. We judge the athlete's worth by the number of zeros on the check. But in the summer of 2023, Lionel Messi, the greatest soccer player of his generation, signed a contract that makes you look way beyond the dollar signs. When he turned down an eye-watering offer from Saudi Arabia to join Major League Soccer, the world was confused. They saw a sports legend taking a comfortable victory lap. They saw a semi-retirement in the sun. But that is entirely the wrong way to look at it. What if I told you that the contract he signed has less in common with a typical sports deal and more with a Silicon Valley startup investment? This wasn't just a salary move. It was a power play for equity and influence. Messi didn't just join a club. He formed a partnership with the most valuable technology company on earth and an entire sports league. In this triangle, the ultimate winner might not be who you think. This is a story about power, leverage, and a deal that essentially weaponized the world's most famous athlete against the traditional media model. Welcome to the Power Game. To truly grasp the magnitude of this deal, we must rewind to the spring of 2023. Lionel Messi's time at Paris Saint-Germain was coming to a toxic end. The experiment of uniting Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi had failed to bring the Champions League to Paris, and the atmosphere was poisonous. The world saw two logical paths for the newly crowned World Cup champion. Path number one was the storybook ending, a return to FC Barcelona, the club that defined his existence. It was the romantic homecoming every fan dreamed of. But the reality was a cold, challenging financial puzzle. Barcelona was drowning in debt, handcuffed by La Liga's financial fair play rules. The will was there, but the wallet was not. Path number two was the path of unimaginable wealth. The Saudi Pro League was executing a state-sponsored takeover of global football. They had already lured Cristiano Ronaldo and Karim Benzema. They placed a monumental offer on Messi's table. Reports cited figures ranging from $400 to $600 million per year, tax-free. It was a sum so immense it defies economic logic. It was generational wealth, not just for his children, but for his great-grandchildren. For weeks, the world waited. Legacy or money? History or hypercapitalism? Then, a third option roared into reality. Inter Miami, Major League Soccer. America. To many, it was baffling. Why would the best player on the planet, fresh off a World Cup win, choose a league that was, let's be honest, irrelevant on the global stage? The salary was a fraction of the Saudi offer. It felt small. It felt anticlimactic. But what most of the world didn't see was that Messi wasn't just choosing a team to play for. He was selecting a market to conquer. He wasn't negotiating a paycheck. He was negotiating ownership of the system itself. For decades, the model for a superstar athlete was simple. You perform, you get a fixed salary, and maybe you sell some shoes on the side. The club owns the platform. The broadcaster owns the signal. And the athlete is the employee. The Saudi offer was the absolute peak of this old model. The biggest paycheck in history, but still just a paycheck. Messi threw that playbook out the window. His deal with Inter Miami, MLS, and Apple is a totally new way of thinking. Instead of taking the guaranteed mountain of cash, he negotiated for upside. He didn't just want a slice of the pie. He wanted a piece of the pie's future growth. Let's break down the anatomy of this deal. The foundation is his club salary, about $20 million per year guaranteed. That's good money, but it's pocket change compared to Riyadh. The real wealth is hidden in the layers above. Layer 1, Adidas. As the exclusive apparel provider for the entire league, Adidas entered a revenue-sharing agreement with Messi. This means he gets a cut of the profits from the explosion in jersey sales as a rival cost. An explosion is an understatement. The pink Inter Miami number 10 shirt didn't just sell out. It became a global fashion staple, rivaling the Yankees hat or the Jordan brand. Messi isn't just wearing the kit. He's a partner in the inventory. Layer 2, the Apple partnership. This is the game changer. In 2023, Apple kicked off what was initially announced as a 10-year, roughly $2.5 billion partnership to broadcast every MLS game globally. But they had a problem. Nobody outside the US was subscribing. So they cut Messi in. As part of his contract, Messi reportedly received a cut of revenue generated by new subscriptions to the MLS Season Pass. Think about the leverage here. Every time a fan in Argentina, Spain, or Japan signs up to watch him play, a portion of that monthly fee flows directly to him. Layer 3, equity. Just like David Beckham before him, Messi negotiated an option to purchase a stake in Inter Miami after he retires. He secured a path to ownership, ensuring that as the club's value skyrockets, his personal net worth rises with it. This is the new way. He bet on himself. He bet that his presence would grow the entire ecosystem, and he made sure he'd get a piece of that growth. So who won? Let's look at the players in this triangle. Apple is the quietest, but perhaps the biggest winner. Before this deal, Apple TV Plus was a niche service known for Ted Lasso and high-quality movies, but lacked the one thing that keeps subscribers paying month after month: live sports. They wagered billions on MLS, a league with almost no global footprint. It was a massive risk. Signing Messi was like pouring rocket fuel on a campfire. Subscription numbers for MLS Season Pass reportedly more than doubled after he arrived. But more importantly, Messi gave Apple a proof of concept. He proved that a tech company could bypass traditional TV networks and own a global sport directly. He gave them credibility. Inter Miami hit the lottery. Before Messi, they were a struggling team in Fort Lauderdale valued at around $600 million. Today, according to Sportico and Forbes, they're a brand valued at over $1 billion. Franchise valuations have soared. Their social media following exploded past every NFL team and most NBA teams. They're no longer a football club. They're a touring rock band, selling out stadiums from Kansas City to Tokyo. The Messi effect boosted the league's valuation. And Messi? He got the one thing Saudi Arabia couldn't offer: relevance in the Western world, combined with absolute lifestyle control. He secured his legacy, kept his family in a culturally comfortable environment, and built a financial engine that will pay him for decades. But the impact of this deal goes far beyond Miami. It sent a shockwave of fear through the boardrooms of Europe. For 50 years, European leagues have relied on a fragmented model. They sell TV rights to Sky in the UK, Canal Plus in France, DAZN in Germany, and ESPN in the US. It is a messy, broken system where the fan has to pay 5 different people to watch the game. The Apple MLS model is terrifying to the European establishment because it is efficient. One app, one price, no blackouts, available in every country on Earth instantly. Messi and Apple proved that a direct-to-consumer model works. And now, the biggest clubs in the world are asking a dangerous question. Why do we need the middleman? If Apple can pay Messi directly to drive subscriptions, why couldn't they pay Real Madrid? Why couldn't Amazon pay the Premier League directly? The Messi deal exposed the vulnerability of the old cable TV model. It showed that the future isn't about selling rights to broadcasters. It's about partnering with tech giants who own the device in your pocket. This deal accelerated the streaming wars. It made football a battleground for Silicon Valley. And this shift in power, from TV networks to tech monopolies, is precisely what is paving the road for the biggest betrayal in football history. So, back to our question. Who really won? The answer is the partnership model. Messi couldn't have achieved this financial upside without Apple's global distribution. Apple couldn't have launched a sports business without Messi's face. And MLS couldn't have become relevant without both of them. They needed each other to unlock value that didn't exist before. But there is a loser in this story, and it might be the wallet of the average fan. As football moves from cable bundles to streaming apps, the cost of being a fan is skyrocketing. We are entering an era where you don't just turn on the TV. You have to subscribe to the ecosystem. To watch Messi, you must pay Apple. To watch the Champions League, you must pay for Amazon Prime Video. To watch La Liga, you must pay for ESPN or DAZN. The Messi deal was a masterclass in business, but it was also the firing of a starting gun. The race to privatize every minute of your attention has begun. Ultimately, the Messi Apple MLS deal is more than just a contract. It's a precedent. It teaches future stars, the next Mbappe, the next Jamal, that their leverage doesn't end with a salary negotiation. It teaches them that they are media companies in their own right. They can demand equity. They can require a revenue share. They can be partners, not employees. The biggest winner isn't a person or a company, but an idea. That in today's creator economy, the ultimate power move is to bet on yourself. But as the tech giants swallow the game, a bigger threat is looming. If the clubs are just content for Apple and Amazon, why do they need the domestic leagues at all? The next step in this war isn't buying the rights. It's buying the sport itself. And the betrayal that is coming will make the streaming wars look like a playground fight. In the next episode, we uncover the secret plan to destroy the domestic leagues forever and the Americans who are funding it. You do not want to miss episode 4, the Super League Betrayal. If you want to understand the money moving the ball, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Welcome to the Power Game, and thank you for being the part of the family.